Good morning.
Good morning.
Probably better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's still not good enough. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. What grade are you guys in?
8.
All right, so like they said, I'm Doug Baldwin, the Seattle Seahawk, but I'm here today just to hang out with you guys. I'm no longer a Seahawk, okay? So we got to get over that real quick. I'm just Doug Baldwin coming in, sharing my experience with you guys, sharing whatever y'all think I know, and then just trying to help you guys out along your journey. So I don't like to sit up here and just talk the whole time. I really like you guys just to, you can't hear me back there? Yes. You can hear me?
We love you.
See, the younger people, they can hear me. You got bad ears. All right, wait, no, seriously, you guys can hear me back there? Can you hear me? You can hear me? All right. Okay, so I don't like to sit up here and talk the whole time. I want you guys to ask me questions. Let's kind of stick away from football. We can answer football questions later, but I'm really here about you guys for college prep. So let's talk about that more so than anything else, okay? You can hear me? Good? All right. Questions? Yes, sir. I went to Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. Yes, sir.
What high school did you go to?
You wouldn't know. It's all the way in Florida. It's called Gulf Breeze High School. You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
What kind of classes did you take in college?
That's a beautiful question. You asked me what type of classes I took in college. So I took college courses that prepped me for my degree. My degree was in science, technology, and society. It's basically a business degree with engineering sprinkled in it. So I took a number of business classes and also engineering classes so that I could achieve my class quota for my degree. So a number of different classes that, specifically math, a lot of math. Yes, ma'am, in the back. Yeah, you. I did not. So unfortunately, when I was growing up, we didn't have what we call running start. We only had IB and AP classes. So technically, that was my running start. So I took AP classes my senior year and junior years in order to get some credit towards college. Yes, sir.
What did you like better, high school or college?
What did I like better? You said, what did I like better? It's a good question. I can't say that I like either one more than the other. I would say that they're different experiences, right? So high school is you're still close to home. You're still living with your mom and your dad. Whereas in college, most of you probably will go off to somewhere else. You probably won't stay at home, close to home. You might stay close to home. But for me, college was different. I wouldn't say better. It was different because I went on the opposite side of the country, right? And so I had to kind of grow up and hold myself accountable and learn about responsibility because I was away from home and away from my mom and my dad. So I wouldn't say that I like either one differently or more. I would just say that they're different experiences. Yes, ma'am.
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
When you were in college, you take sports, right?
Yes,
Did it
ma'am.
affect your social life?
My social life? Yeah, a little bit. I would say that because I spent so much time in football, I didn't spend a lot of time, I don't party. I don't like to go out and do those types of things. So most of my time was spent in the dorm room playing video games, honestly. But you guys don't do that. No, so a lot of my time was spent, yes, on the football field or in the practice room, or practice field or in the meeting rooms or in the film room. So I dedicated a lot of my time to football because that's what I wanted to do, right? But also I had my academics, so that combined took a lot of time away from extracurricular activities. So, and I didn't really like to do that stuff anyway. So socially, no, I don't think it affected me that much, but I had different priorities. Yes, ma'am.
If you weren't a football player, what would you be doing?
It's a beautiful question because I don't know. So her question was, if I wasn't a football player, what would I be? So I didn't really have a plan B leaving college. I had my degree, and so I applied to different places once I graduated from school because I wanted to get a job, obviously. I wasn't drafted, and if any of you guys know my story, I wasn't drafted after college, after the football season.
Yeah.
So you guys know that?
Yep.
Okay. So and also that year we had a lockout from the NBA or the NFL to the players. So I couldn't get a job in the NFL. I couldn't talk to any of the teams or the owners, and so I had to find a job. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to during that time. But then fortunately, the lockout lifted and I was able to go to the NFL. So one thing I will tell you guys is that when you do start planning for college and when you do get into college, make sure you're taking the opportunity to do internships, because internships will help you get a job once you're done with college. So you guys know what internships are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If you don't, ask your teachers, ask your parents, because they'll help you out. And that is something that I would say is I wish I got advice about that when I was going to college, is taking the time to do internships. All right, yes sir.
What school did you go to?
So I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Pensacola, Florida. So I don't think you would know the middle school. It's called Woodlawn Beach Middle School. So I'm lying. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so her question is, did I ever change my major when I was in college? So when I got to Stanford, we had to declare our major our freshman year. And so I did, and then yes, I changed it my sophomore year, and then yes, I changed it my junior year. So one thing that I can tell you is that all of you guys probably have a plan of what you want to do, what you want to be, and that's great. And then those of you that don't, that's also great. So when I got to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I kind of had an idea, but I wasn't completely sure. So when I got to college, I kind of just let the classes direct me and pull me towards what I wanted to do. So yes, I changed my major twice, which is okay. Colleges understand that, you know, typically their students will change their decision on their major. So I did change twice, but I won't say it's a bad thing, because yes, you would like to know, but eventually when you get to college, you're gonna have an idea of something that you might want to do other than what you thought you were going to do. So it's not a bad thing. Yes, sir. Something that was hard for me in college. So the biggest thing, the biggest difficulty, I wouldn't say difficulty, the biggest challenge for me was going from Florida all the way to California. So I'm really close to my family, so it was really difficult for me to go across country and not see my family for the majority of the year. I only got to see them maybe a week or two out of the year. So that was the hardest challenge for me, but I will say it was probably the greatest challenge that I was ever given an opportunity to take on, because going to college at Stanford and in California, it broadened my horizons. It made me a much better person because I got to experience life outside of where I grew up, what I already knew. And so it forced me to grow up and learn more about the world and about different cultures. All right, so.
How hard was it to get into
Thank you. So his question was, how hard was it to get into Stanford? Well, I'll say it's hard enough to get into college. In general, so I won't just, you know, highlight Stanford. I just say college in general. But okay, how many of you guys plan on going to college?
Right here.
So everybody in here that's 16 years, or that's 16 and under, or I don't know if anybody older than 16 in here. Okay, everybody that's not 30, 30 and under, you should be planning on going to college. And even if you don't know how, if you don't know where, it doesn't matter. Just take that time, this time right now, utilize this seminar and these courses that they're providing you, and try to figure out a way how you can get to school, how you can get to college. Because all of you that should be one of your priorities, one of your goals, is to get to college. Not saying that, you know, high school is you know, obviously focus in on high school, but at the same time, you should be preparing yourself to further your education after school. Because that's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, is the opportunity to learn more after high school. Okay. Yes, ma'am. My favorite subject in high school was calculus. I really like math. Yes, ma'am.
Did you experience any difficulties, like when you changed your major?
Did I experience? Okay, so the only difficulties that I did experience was that some of the classes that I took previously, they didn't align with my major. So then I had to go back and take more classes, which was okay because I had the time to do so. Again, like I said, I don't really go out and do other things. The college experience, I guess you would say. I spent a lot of my time in my academics, so I wouldn't say it was difficult. It was a challenge, but I enjoyed that challenge.
Were the new classes harder?
Some of them were. It just depends on what majors you change and what classes you go to. You know, I can't say for which class or which major, you know, hypothetically that you would change into. So those classes are going to be determined on what major you change into. Yes, sir.
What were the three majors?
Three majors?
What were the
so the first one I wanted to major in was mechanical engineering, and I didn't have enough time technically to finish that major. If I was to do it, it would have been done in 5 years. And unfortunately, I didn't have enough money to spend on another 5th year. So I wanted to do something that I could do in 4 years and still play football, obviously. So mechanical engineering, and there was this another degree called MS&E, which was management science and engineering. So it was very close to mechanical engineering, but it wasn't. I still didn't have enough time. So then I switched to what we call at Stanford Science, Technology, and Society. So it's basically a hybrid of those two, the previous two mixed into one condensed one. So it was a lot easier to get, or it wasn't easier, but it allowed me to get that degree in 4 years. Yes, sir. Was I good at geometry? Geometry was one of my favorite classes, so yeah, I think so. I'd like to think so. Yes, ma'am. How did I what? How did I pay for college? So I was able to get an athletic scholarship from Stanford. Yes, ma'am. Scale from A's to E's? You guys get E's?
Yeah.
So there's no F anymore, it's just E? That's a terrible idea. E is like too nice. Like when I think of E, I think of like excellent. F is like messed up. The lowest grade that I got in school, I would say, I got a D one time. I got a D in middle school, 5th grade. 5th grade is middle school, right?
No. Elementary school.
Or okay, elementary. I'm sorry. I'm old like that guy back then. Okay. My lowest grade in school was a D. So, but my 6th grade year is when I kind of all turned it around. I started focusing on my academics, and that was the first time I got AB honor rolls in 6th grade. And then after that, I realized that I could achieve it, I could do it, and so I applied myself even more, and I started getting straight A's. And then when I got to high school, it was like, all right, I can do this, and I started applying myself more, and I was able to go into AP classes and the college prep courses in order to get myself ready for college. Okay, take a couple more. Yes, ma'am.
How many colleges did you apply to before you were enrolled?
If you know of a college, I applied to it. So I applied to every college that I could, and a lot of them did not even call me back. But the one college I wanted to go to was Georgia Tech. I sent them all of my transcripts, all of my information, my game tape from football, and they didn't even call me back. But I will say this, that was one of the greatest things that happened to me, because if I would have stayed closer to home and went to Georgia Tech, I probably wouldn't have been able to achieve what I've been able to achieve now. And I probably wouldn't have the mindset that I have now, which is, you know, I'm way more accepting than and how I was raised in the South. So, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. So, I believe that me going to Stanford instead of Georgia Tech happened for a reason. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so given that education for children is also very much part of the parents' life, how supportive are your parents, and what advice would you give to parents in supporting kids to get an education?
That's a beautiful question. Okay. Tough question. Okay, did you guys hear that question? Okay, I want the students to hear this because you guys think you know everything and you really don't. Oh, you know everything? Alright, so the question was, of course you guys do. Okay, the question was, how can parents help their students focus in on school and achieving their goals, I'm assuming, right? Okay. So my parents were very instrumental in my decision to go to college. So my first choice was Louisiana Lafayette, which was close to home. It was the first school to offer me a scholarship. Again, like I couldn't pay for college, so I needed to get a scholarship. And then Stanford came in and said, hey, we want you to come to Stanford, we'll give you a scholarship. The thing was, though, is that I wasn't looking at it academically. I was looking at it as I get to stay close to home, stay closer to my friends. It'll be something that I'm used to, and so that, you know, the academics portion wasn't my priority. It was staying home and staying close to family. And so the biggest reason, or the biggest problem that I think parents have, is letting their kids go. You know, and realizing that them going away from home. My mom, I'm a mama's boy. My mom loves me. I was her only child for 13 years, and so obviously we had a great relationship. So the hardest thing for her was letting me go and telling me that I needed to go to Stanford because it was a better opportunity for myself. So I think the biggest challenge for parents is emphasizing to your children that academics is important and that yes, they should want to go to college, even if you didn't. Even if you didn't go to college, encouraging your children to go to college is probably one of the best gifts that you could give to them. And so my mom, yes, encouraged me to go to Stanford, even though it was very painful for her to see me leave and go off to college across country. So I would say that's the most challenging thing, but just being a parent and being there is probably the greatest thing that you can give to them. You don't have to give them advice, just being there is more important than anything else. And I'm a firm believer in that. All right, a couple more questions. Yes, sir.
What was the final thing you majored in?
It's called Science and Technology and Society. So it's a business degree with some engineering sprinkled in it, because that was what I like to do. That's what I found interesting in college, so that's what I studied. Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever want to go back to college?
Yes, I do. So a lot of you guys are probably tired of school now, right? I know some of you are probably tired of school, but I can tell you when you get older, if you get the opportunity to go to college, you need to do it first and foremost. Like again, I said all of you need to plan on going to college. When you get to college, it's probably one of the best experiences you can experience if you make the most of it. If you apply yourself, if you give of yourself to the university, the school you go to, it's going to be a great experience. And so yes, I graduated in 2011, and I cannot wait to go back. So when I'm done playing football, I'm going back to college because I learned so much. The experience was fantastic, and I know that I know what I don't know, so I want to go back to college and figure it out. If that makes sense. All right, yes, sir. Last question. My GPA in college. So a lot of you guys think I got great grades, right, in college? So my GPA was a 2.9. So I will say this though. My experience in college was amazing, right? Even though I had a 2.9 GPA, I applied myself, and I worked very hard at that. Now I'm not saying that I'm not the smartest person in the world. Obviously, I got a 2.9. But what I can say is that the challenges that those classes gave me, they made me a better person. It made me a smarter person. So yeah, I might not have always got the right answer, but now I know how to go find the right answer. And I know that if I don't have the right answer, I got to go back and figure it out. And so that 2.9, those classes in college, they humbled me. And so they made me more aware, more self-aware of what I know and what I don't know. So yes, I got a 2.9. Yes, college was challenging, but I can tell you right now, it's one of the most rewarding challenges you'll ever face. Okay, yes ma'am, your question is back.
Did you ever have a teacher in middle school or high school who did feel respected you? And how did you stay motivated to go to college and succeed despite all of the things?
That's a good question. So, I'm sure all of you have teachers or circumstances in school where it's kind of hard to focus in on your academics, right? And what I would tell you is that, yeah, that sucks, and it can be difficult at times, but that person who's making it more difficult or making it more challenging, they're just presenting you another opportunity. And that opportunity is for you to overcome that challenge, because if you overcome that challenge, as well as your academic challenge, you'll be not only a better student, but a better person. And so, yes, I know that happens sometimes. I know that sucks for some of you guys that have to deal with that. But I would tell you one thing is that don't take it personal. Just look at it as an opportunity for you to overcome another challenge, which is going to make you better down the line. Okay, so I'm going to end the questions, and I want to leave you guys with one thing, okay? So when I was growing up, I wanted to be an NBA basketball player. You guys can laugh at that. What's funny? All right, so no, for real, I wanted to be an NBA basketball player. That was my goal. That was my dream. Basketball was my first love. So I worked really, really hard at basketball. I told myself I was going to be next Kobe Bryant. You guys can laugh at that too, but that was the truth, right? Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But fortunately enough, I'm in the NFL now. But what I can tell you is that in that time, I told my uncle. My uncle was very instrumental in my life. And one of the things he taught me was about this toolbox of life. And he told me that yes, you can go and you can be a basketball player if you want to, and those dreams and aspirations are all great. But what happens if something happens to your leg or something to your arm or your body in general, and you're not able to do athletics, you're not able to play sports? He said at any time that can be taken away from you, but what you put inside your brain, that can never be taken away from you. And so he taught me about the toolbox of life. And what he was saying is that in the toolbox of life, when you go out through life, it hands you these tools. And those tools that life gives you, you can build your future. You build your goals, you build your vision, you build your future, and you build your life. Right? And he said the greatest tool you can put in that toolbox of life is education. And education is going to be the greatest tool. And the greatest tool is that you're going to use that tool to build your future, to build what you want to be. And so when you get in college, you're going to use that tool that you sharpen in middle school and in high school. You're going to use that in college. And then in college, it's going to refine it. And then when you get out of college, you're going to use that same tool to build your career and to build your life. And so what I can leave you guys with today is don't take for granted this opportunity that you have. I wish growing up that I had an opportunity to sit in these chairs and listen to a college prep seminar and then tell me advice about how to get into college and how to prepare for college, because I didn't have that. You guys are afforded a great opportunity to do that. And so don't take that for granted, because the most important thing you can give to yourself is this education, is this tool in your toolbox that's going to help you build your future. So with that being said, don't look at me as Seattle Seahawks football player. Look at me as a person who's been in the same seats that you guys have been sitting in, and that has been able to come out of it on the other end in a positive way. And so I just wanted to share that information with you guys, because you guys have a great opportunity to do something with your life. Far here, so I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys.